links in the description. I'm going to be going through almost all of the article, but you can go through that in your own good time. If you do like the video, if you like this type of article, then do like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things. Ideally, share. It's a tragic story, which we'll go through very quickly, and I may give some commentary at the end, and I might be a little bit controversial. You might not like what I have to say. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. 5 months pregnant Florida librarian, 35 years of age, is shot dead in a road rage incident after she intentionally rammed her car, into a motorcyclist. So the victim, the lady that was shot and killed, and she was pregnant. The child did not survive. The fetus did not survive. The lady intentionally rammed her car into a motorcyclist. So the motorcyclist followed her home before she pulled a gun on him. The biker had a permit for concealed weapon and claims self-defense. So I will read through the article in a moment, but you know the headline pretty much tells us everything. The woman concerned was pregnant. She intentionally drove her car into a motorcyclist. Now, I don't ride a motorcycle. I'm not an expert with motorcycles, but I'm pretty sure that it's a little bit dangerous as a motorcyclist to have a car run into you. It's probably not something that you would like. Extremely dangerous. So the motorcyclist, as well as some other witnesses, followed the lady concerned. She didn't pull over. Well, we'll have a look at the details. Perhaps I've forgotten some of the details, but essentially she went all the way home, and so the motorcyclist approached the lady, being a little bit angry, I would imagine, that she had intentionally rammed him with her car. She pulled a gun on him. Bear in mind, they were at her property, and he, who had a concealed weapon permit, shot and killed the woman, the pregnant woman. Again, the pregnant woman died, and the baby died as well. So let's have a closer look. A 5 months pregnant librarian from Florida has been shot and killed after she intentionally hit a motorcyclist with her car, then fled to her home before being gunned down during an armed confrontation with the biker. Sara-Nicole Morales, 35 years of age, was shot dead by Andrew Durr after allegedly pulling a gun on the motorcyclist, who had followed the woman to her Orange City home after she fled the scene. Her family told the news station she was 5 months pregnant with a child who did not survive. Morales also leaves behind an 11-year-old daughter and a fiancé. So, it's clearly a very tragic situation. It's a loss of 2 lives. It's a loss of a mother, as well as she was about to have another child. Her 11-year-old daughter will be naturally devastated. Her fiancé will be naturally devastated. Her family will be naturally devastated. It's a tragic situation. The article continues. The incident unfolded just around 5:15 p.m. on Saturday, when cops received a 911 call reporting a hit-and-run accident located 45 miles outside of Orlando. Durr, the motorcyclist, who was not injured, followed Morales' Kia along with witnesses in an effort to prevent her from escaping until police arrived. They tried to stop Morales from making a turn at a nearby intersection, telling her to stay put until officers responded to the scene. But the woman, Morales, refused, and she drove away. Morales ultimately pulled over in front of her home on the 1000 block of East Wisconsin Avenue. She went inside of her home and she came back pointing a gun at Durr and the witnesses while they were on the phone with a 911 operator. Morales also called 911, telling a dispatcher she was being threatened by aggressive men. I don't like that term. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's technically true, but it just seems to be misogynist. That's my reading of it. But, what do I know? The article continues, "You're three men." I mean, they're three humans. Does it matter that they're men? I'm not sure. I don't think so. "You're three men. You followed me. Leave me alone." Morales is heard screaming on the call that was released by the authorities. Durr, the motorcyclist, who has a valid Florida concealed weapons permit, drew his handgun and fired multiple rounds, striking Morales. One of the witnesses was on the phone with a 911 dispatcher when the barrage of gunfire erupted, followed by screams. The witness told the dispatcher that Durr, the motorcyclist, shot the woman in self-defense. Oh, that's going to help him a lot, that the witness said in the moment that he shot her in self-defense. That's going to help, I would imagine. As police officers detained Durr, the motorcyclist, by placing handcuffs on him, Durr implored them to go easy, telling them, "I didn't do anything wrong, but defend myself." Durr was said to be cooperating with law enforcement. As of Tuesday, he has not been charged in connection with Morales' death. Morales, who was pronounced dead at Halifax Health Medical Center, had worked as a librarian in the Pearson Public Library since 2019. So, again, a tragic situation, road rage, a lady driver purposefully crashes into a motorcyclist. That's extremely dangerous. The motorcyclist and other witnesses essentially tried to apprehend the lady. She refused to comply. She refused to wait for the police. She went home. When she got into her home, she pulled out a gun, pointed it at the motorcyclist who had followed the lady home, and seemingly Durr, the motorcyclist, felt threatened, and he felt that it was appropriate as an act of self-defense to shoot the woman, which led to her death. I mean, to me, I said I was going to give some comments and that they're likely controversial. It's a tragic situation, but I can't help but think that she brought it upon herself. I mean, purposefully crashing into motorcyclists, that's a serious crime. That's immoral, extremely dangerous. I mean, I'm guessing, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know what I'm talking about. But so as a layman, I would imagine purposefully crashing a car into a motorcyclist would be potentially regarded as attempted murder, attempted manslaughter, attempted grievous bodily harm, whatever it is. It's going to be a significant charge, a felony, I would imagine. It seems to me, again, as a layman, I don't know what I'm talking about, but it seems to me that the victim, Durr, the motorcyclist, had every right to attempt to apprehend the lady concerned, Morales, and given that she refused to be apprehended, she refused to wait for the police, it seemed appropriate to me, again, as a layman, for Durr to follow her home. That doesn't seem unreasonable. It's not a case of stalking. He wasn't planning on burglarizing the property. He was there only because she drove his car into him whilst he was on a motorcycle. She pulls out a gun. I mean, that seems to me unnecessary. She's saying, "You're three men, you followed me, leave me alone." I mean, to me, forgive me, but that just seems like misogyny, and it's just claiming victimhood. "Oh, I'm a poor little woman. You can't ask me to be accountable for my actions just because I crashed a car into your motorbike. Go away, will you? Leave me alone. Who are you, you horrible misogynist men, you toxic masculine?" This is the vibe I'm getting. I don't know how accurate that is. Now, I don't know the final moments in regards to what led exactly to Durr to pull the trigger and subsequently kill the lady. But the other witnesses that were there, they in there immediately, whilst they're on the phone to a dispatch 911, they've said it was due to self-defense. That was their initial impression, seemingly, allegedly, according to this article. So to me, we don't know the finer details. We can't say for sure. This is mere speculation. This is a knee-jerk reaction. But my knee-jerk reaction is the guy did nothing wrong. He did the right thing by following the lady. He did the right thing by... Oh, well, maybe he didn't. I mean, look, let me say this. Maybe he didn't do the right thing by approaching the house. Maybe he could have stayed outside of the house, called the police, waited for the police. You know, in hindsight, perhaps that's would have been the better thing to do. And had he had done that, perhaps this incident wouldn't have escalated. You know, perhaps he is at fault for that. You know, I don't know. But at the same time, on a moral level, in my opinion, look, you've got to remember, people are humans. We're humans. We have emotions. We have chemicals flowing and hormones flowing through our bodies. The guy would have been full of adrenaline. He's not necessarily thinking clearly, you know. He's not necessarily thinking responsibly. He's, you know, engulfed with in the moment. You know, we don't act like robots. We're not robots. We're not perfect. We don't always make the right decision. He didn't purposefully try to create this situation. He merely is reacting to having a car crash into him. I feel sorry for this guy. And again, I don't know the finer details. Maybe there's more information that will come to light, which will make me change my mind. But at this moment in time, my feeling is the guy is a victim, and it's unfortunate what happened. But you know that this is what happens when you crash your car into people and then you point guns at them. You know, it doesn't surprise me that death occurred.